You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
We're joined with our first set of guests here in the studio. They're going to be telling us all about a roof over their heads project. We're going to have some readings from the group as well. But at the moment, firstly, we're going to be talking to Geof and Joe. So welcome along to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed, Daniel. Thank you very much for inviting all of us in here tonight. So to tell you a little bit about the background of A Roof Over Their Heads, if I may, we're a writing group, so this is all to do about writing. I've been a community writer now for quite a long time, and I've written plays on Mayor Greet from Queenborough and the people who lived in the hulks, as well as the days of early aviation. But this particular project, A Roof Over Their Heads, came about partly by, in their wisdom, Swale Arts Forum provided me with a bursary to do some writing based upon the people that lived in Shrimp Terrace. Now, Shrimp Terrace in Sheerness is big and pink and overlooks the sea, so it's quite noticeable. And the people that live there have had a long and rich history, partly because when Shrimp Terrace was built, it was quite a swish place to live, and people from the armed forces and that were stationed in the dockyard found that a very desirable place to live. And then gradually, as Shrimp Terrace changed, it went rather more down market, and number of tenancies were there, multiple occupancies. So you've got a wide variety of people living there, and nowadays I'm pleased to say that Shrimp Terrace is going back up market, so that's all to look forward to. So this particular project then is based about taking people who've lived in your house and doing some research on them, finding out some basic details. It might be no more than a name and an age and a date that they lived in the house that people have been researching, and from those basic details constructing a history of that person, which is what I call a possible history. It's a history that could have taken place, possibly could have taken place. Right. No guarantees that it did, but it possibly did. And then using that as a basis to give them their own voice in which they can describe their lives.
Now, I know you're going to cover a little bit more about how you all got involved in this project.
Well, the idea there was then having written the possible history of Shrimp Terrace. The idea was to share that with other writers, and so Swale Borough Council funded me to deliver a series of writing workshops. And so with the help of the newspaper, I described what was in store, this idea of doing some research on the houses that people lived in, researching who lived there, and then making a possible history of them. And then a number of people wrote back to me and say, yes, they would like to be involved with that. And so I got some contacts from some very talented writers, of which one is Joe, who is involved with it.
Well, I've known Geof for quite a long time now. I've known him for involvement with the Big Fish Arts on the island. I've done some singing and some drama with him, and he's done very good work in that line. And I've often gone into the Big Fish shop. It was on the high street, and sort of to keep up with what's happening. And I found out from him that this project was happening, and it was kind of a little bit of the way into the project by the time I got involved. But I thought it sounded really interesting, very, very exciting, and I'd been thinking about writing for a while. So I got involved like that, and yes, I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it.
And we're now going to be joined in the studio with Lisa, Joe, James and Bob. I think we're going to start off by talking about why you all got involved.
Well, Daniel, I've always loved doing creative things. I do art, I sing, I do photography, and I've always enjoyed writing stories when I was at school, but I'd never actually done anything with it, and it seemed like now I'm retired, the perfect time to start thinking about writing. So I thought I'd pick up on it, and I've been interested in looking at the history and looking at the arts on the island and the culture of the island. So I thought that what I would do is do some research on this and find out a bit more about it. And with that, I started to look at the kind of things that Geof was doing and got interested in the idea of historical writing. And that's kind of what led me into it. And then I had a vague idea about writing a book, so I thought this would really help me with some little baby steps to actually learn the process and start to build on things, put things together.
And I found out about it through the Sheerness Times Guardian. It popped through the door, and my husband was the one who spotted the article. He showed it to me, and because I am an avid writer, it is my hobby, and it's what I hope to do for a living at some point. And he pointed it out to me, so I got in touch with Geof and came along to the writing sessions. I've lived on the island for about 3.5 years and didn't really know that much about it, so I thought it would give me a chance to explore a bit, find out a bit more about the history, and to get some writing done. So that's why I got involved.
Well, she didn't point at me, but she means me, James. Okay. So, like Lisamarie, I'm also immigrant to the island as well. I'm a writer from way back. I work with the Sheppey Writers Group, in both here and in Sittingbourne. And when Geof Reed came to talk to us at our Writers Group meeting, I thought, this is a good idea. I like the idea of this. And as part of the Swale Arts Forum, who arranged for the bursary originally, I thought it was a good idea to actually see how it worked. And so getting involved was an easy thing because I do like writing and I like the area in which I was involved. Funny enough, it was one of those things that now and again you think to yourself, oh, I just live on Sheppey. But when you get to sort of look at the island and what goes on around it, then and in it, well, then you start getting involved. And I think why I got involved was because I actually got involved in Sheppey. So, and now I'm going to hand over to a long-term resident here, Bob Collins.
Thank you, James. I got involved through James and through Geof, mainly with the Sittingbourne and Sheppey Writers Group. I thought I'd come along and add what I could to this, which is the community aspect of this, which I thought would be interesting. And I ended up with writing, which would be only my third short story. I usually write poetry and publish, but as I say, for me to write stories was to be inspired by Geof, James and the others, so for now this is what I did. Thank you.
So James, what did you get from this course, and what would you like to write?
Well, Daniel, it was one of those things that I didn't expect much from the course at the beginning, but when I started to get on with it, I discovered that I could learn to research properly. Also found that I could create a history which I never expected to create just like that. I thought I was only going to be able to write say perhaps a short story and leave it at that. Whereas in fact I created a history about one house from a single small incident that lasted from about 1895 to the present day. And what I got out of it was really a surprise to myself that I could actually sort of write this in between everything else I was doing as well. And you know, you ask also why I like to write. I think that's one of the reasons, is because every time I do write, I get something different out of it. And the other thing I got out of it, which is a very important thing of all, is that I met some new people with new ideas who taught me things that I'd never expected to, come across before, which was interesting. So I'm going to hand over to some of the others now because naturally I run out of words. Lisa, would you like to try?
I think the thing that I've got out of this project is more of a sense of community. As I said before, learning about where I live and meeting people in the place that I live that I would never have met otherwise. So it's been a real experience. It's been a lot of fun, and at the end of it, we've created something. And I think that is the reason that I enjoy writing, is that you sit down with a notebook or at a laptop or wherever, and there's nothing. And a little while later, there is something. You've created something out of absolutely nothing. So that's always really exciting, and that's why I enjoy writing. So, Jo?
Well, I got really good help from Geof on how to structure writing, different aspects of writing. So it's things like plot and language and character, and also things like how to write for and deliver to an audience. What is your audience? Who are they? How are they going to respond to what you write? I think also there's a very strong community element in the project, a social element to it, which I've really enjoyed. It's been great to meet new people, to share some ideas and have some laughs. And I find it really exciting to kind of us working together as like a team that are actually making something happen, and that's really an exciting thing for me. I mean, why I like writing is because it is a creative thing. You can start with a very simple, when I was doing my research, I just found a couple of lines about somebody, and then from that you can create a whole character and a series of characters, and then it starts growing, and I find that very exciting. Bob?
I found that it was the community spirit that got my interest. I found with Geof and the title "A Roof Over Our Heads" was something that I found very inspiring. I thought as I progressed with the story and the constructive criticism given to me, it aided me. There was no hindrance there. It aided me to write and write more. So I'm quite happy to carry on and do what I've done.
Can I come in there again?
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's made comments which I wish I'd made when I started my little speech earlier on. And I'd like to just endorse them, because one of the things which, as a writer, you do sometimes is you get a little bit proud of yourself and a little bit precious about things, and you're not really willing to hand it over to somebody else to say, proofread or look at. And this, I think I've got out of this course a little bit more confidence in handing it over to somebody else without me being considered to be the expert, so to speak, which is great. So
we are talking all about a roof over their heads project this evening here at the Monday Night Community Show.